If you don't set up an arrangement to pay tax arrears, HMRC can just take money directly from your bank account. They can come to your premises, remove your company assets, and in the worst cases, they just petition to wind your company up in court. So don't wait for HMRC to chase you. Call them before they call you, because in 2026, the directors who engage early get flexibility, and the ones who hide are going to get enforcement. Now, right now, HMRC is sitting on billions of pounds of unpaid tax, and they are chasing harder than ever before. But, and this is a crucial point for you, they're still open to realistic payment plans, and they're known as time to pay arrangements. So I had a director recently, he was ignoring HMRC, didn't speak to them, ignored letters, and he thought that they'd give him more time when he finally spoke to them. Instead of that, they went round to his business premises, they noted all the company assets, and they did something called the Control of Goods Act. And essentially from that point, he'd lost his business assets unless he paid HMRC, which he wasn't able to do. And I'm going to show you how to avoid that. I want to talk to you about what a time to pay arrangement is, okay? A TTP for short. It's an official agreement with HMRC that allows you to repay tax arrears in instalments over time. And it can be anything from 3 months to 3 years. In fact, sometimes people get even longer than that. But there are a lot of benefits to a time to pay arrangements. You keep trading. HMRC will pause enforcement action and you stay compliant. Now, they don't forgive the debt. They won't do deals with you. It's debt control. And for me, it's one of the smartest ways you can stabilise your cash flow without triggering insolvency. By the way, my name's Chris Worden. I'm from Director First. There are a number of taxes you can include in a time to pay arrangement. So you've got VAT, which you're due to pay every 3 months, PAYE and NIC, which you pay monthly, and corporation tax that you pay yearly. Just so you know, for those who are sole traders who you've got tax bills, you can also do time to pay arrangement for income tax. And also the penalties that you may have been charged and the interest, that can be rolled into a time to pay too. Now, although on the face of it, listen, HMRC are open to listening to your proposals to pay them. You need to be honest, you need to be organised, and you need to be proactive. So, first of all, if anyone's got outstanding HMRC arrears and you are worried about HMRC coming on your doorstep, taking your goods, winding you up, go to the description, click on that link at the top, and one of my team will call you today. Free, independent, we will tell you how to set up a time to pay arrangement. But for those of you that don't want to speak to anyone, I'm going to tell you step by step now how you set up a time to pay. So, step one, you've got to get your numbers straight, okay? Before you ring HMRC, you need to know a few things, okay? You need to know exactly what you owe, okay? And that's across VAT, PAYE and corporation tax. And you've got to make sure that your returns are up to date. So, if you've got outstanding VAT returns, don't ring them trying to set up a time to pay arrangement on VAT, because they'll tell you, go and get your returns up to date, then I'll talk to you, okay? Now, in addition to this, you need to understand what you can realistically afford monthly to pay them, okay? So, how do you do that? You've got to look at your cash flow. What does that look like? And the easiest way to do this is like a 13-week rolling cash flow. And I'll keep it as simple as possible. You have a spreadsheet with every day for the next 13 weeks. And what do you think you've got coming in? And what do you think you've got going out? Now, if you've got a bookkeeper, they'll definitely be able to help you with this. And if you've got a proactive accountant, they should be able to help you. But when you're working out what you can realistically afford to pay HMRC, you've got to look at the cash flow. You can't be plucking a figure out of the air, and so many people do. And the next thing is when can you realistically start paying HMRC? They will want the first payment immediately. And if you owe a lot of money to HMRC, trust me when I say this, it will help you if you can put a lump down. It shows willing. Now, sometimes you can't pay HMRC right away, okay? And you've got to let them know that. You might be in construction, or you might be in a seasonal business where at the moment you have too much money at the end of the month. Sorry, too much month at the end of the money. You're struggling to pay payroll. But you know, in Q4 or in January or February, you'll start to get some money in, and you'll be able to start looking at paying down what you owe HMRC. But if you don't know your numbers, you look unprepared. And HMRC will either reject your proposal, or even worse, they'll suggest a proposal that you agree to because you don't know your numbers, and you won't be able to stick to it, and you'll get back. In fact, you won't be back at square one. You'll have set a time to pay arrangement up and then failed on it quickly. HMRC will just go down the process of winding you up. Anyway, step 2 is once you've got all your ducks in a row, you know your numbers, you know what you can afford to pay, you know when you can afford to pay it, contact HMRC before they contact you. Now, they've all got different phone lines, you know. Corporation tax have a different line to that. But you call them and you say, listen, I want to talk to you about arranging a time to pay. Now, you can, if you owe HMRC fairly small numbers and you can pay that time to pay arrangement over 12 months, to save lots of time, you could log into your tax account online and use the request a payment plan feature. So that's really simple. You don't have to speak to anybody, but it's generally for fairly short-term time to pay arrangements, okay? For most of you out there, you're going to be ringing HMRC. And the reason why timing matters is if you call quick enough, you won't get penalties, okay? You won't have people on your doorstep, and God forbid, like in the worst case scenario, you can have a winding up petition served against your company. Because once enforcement starts, once you start to get people knocking on your doors, I mean, first of all, it's really uncomfortable, isn't it? You know, HMRC agents at your business address, or God forbid, they're at your home because your home is your business address. And then I think when that starts to happen, I've seen it so many times where directors, when HMRC are literally in your face, they're in your business premises, your leverage goes, because I think you are going to panic because you want them out of your business address, or you want them out of, you know, off your front doorstep. You will agree to something that if you had time to understand and plan, you might not agree to. You've got to be proactive here. You've got to be prepared. Listen, you don't need to be perfect, but you need to be able to pick the phone up to them before they're at you. Now, step 3, you must explain your situation really clearly, okay? When you're speaking to HMRC, be honest. They're not looking for the excuses. They're looking for people that are putting effort in. And they'll ask you the obvious questions. Why can't you pay on time? What has changed in your business? How much can you afford to pay? When will this balance be cleared? So you need to be ready for these questions. But I'm going to give you some tips now that are going to help you stand out from everyone else who's calling HMRC. Call them with a simple cash flow forecast. offer to share with them the forecast. And you might prepare that with some management accounts that are showing that your business is actually starting to make some money. Now, if you sound organised, I believe that builds a lot of trust. If you sound vague, again, they might knock you back on the time to pay arrangement, or you're setting up a time to pay arrangement that you're vague about, which could fall over in a few months. Now, step 4 is, I want you, when you negotiate with HMRC, you need to be realistic, okay? You need to be going in there knowing where your cut-off point is, okay? Because if you agree to something, and when you're negotiating, I want you to have a number of figures in your head. What are you going to go in at? Now, for me, you go in as long as possible. I'd always aim for a 3-year time to pay arrangement to start off with, because that gives you room for negotiation. They might not accept 3 years, you might settle on 2 years, but it's giving you a long period of time to pay back those arrears. Obviously, there's going to be an interest rate there, but you know, comparative, it is a cheap interest rate. And I want you to be really wary of being too ambitious. I hear it all the time. Chris, I can clear 100 grand in 6 months. And I'll go, okay, show me your profit and loss. And they'll show me a profit and loss. And I'll go, you're not looking like you're going to make 100 grand profit in the next 6 months. So how on earth are you expecting to pay HMRC all of the money in 6 months and everything else? You've got to understand your numbers. Now, they might ask for a lump sum up front, and sometimes that'll really help you. You know, if you owe them quite a bit of money and you've got a lump to pay, put them down. But I want you to be really careful when they ask for that lump, and perhaps don't offer it up first of all. Again, it goes back to being financially savvy. You need to know your numbers. And for me, the more money that can stay in your business account, the better. And again, I think with HMRC, certainly with larger numbers, sort of 50,000, 100,000 plus, you probably need professional advice. So if anything I've said is sort of hit a nerve with you, go to the description. My link is in the top of the description. Put your details in. One of my team will call you today. Now, step 5, once you've got the deal done, you want written confirmation, okay? Now, generally, they will write to you within a week, but in theory, until it's confirmed, enforcement still can happen, okay? Once the agreement is active, HMRC will pause action, okay? But this is the next thing, is you've got to stick to it. Step 6 is stick to the bloody plan. If you miss a single payment, HMRC will cancel the arrangement automatically. And if that happens, enforcement action will start again. People will be on your doorstep. They can now take money out of your bank account. They can come and they can basically levy against your goods. So that's like your assets in the business. They come round with a clipboard. They'll take a note of everything, like in here it'd be tables, lights, computers, etc., etc. And once you've signed it, them assets are no longer owned by your business. They're owned by HMRC. And if you don't pay HMRC everything, what they will do is they will come and remove your assets from your business and sell them at auction for tuppence halfpenny a lot of the time. And once you've signed that control of goods, there's not a lot you can do other than pay them what they're owed. And obviously, finally, if HMRC have got nowhere with you, you've broke your time to pay arrangement, they'll issue a winding up petition. I have never seen as many winding up petitions being advertised. Like, obviously we speak to directors for months and months, and we're really mindful that, you know, we never want to pressurise somebody into insolvency. But it's when it's clear that insolvency is the only option and they keep putting off. And I really get it. Nobody wants to use my service. Nobody goes into business thinking, oh, I hope I'll be able to work with that Chris Worden one day and put a business into liquidation. But you know what? A lot of businesses now are having their options limited and their control taken from them. Because in 2026, HMRC are sending out petitions daily. So when you've got that payment plan set up a standing order and treat that plan like payroll. It's a non-negotiable, okay? So let me just highlight the benefits of a time to pay arrangement again. It will stop immediate enforcement action from HMRC. It will protect your cash flow while you trade and hopefully get back on a firm financial footing. It preserves company reputation because nobody knows about it. It's not advertised. No one knows that you are in arrears with HMRC except HMRC. And you know what? If you've tried to do a time to pay arrangement and it's failed and you've tried your best, I think it shows that you've acted responsibly, even if you end up in insolvency later on down the line. Now, there are a load of mistakes that I want you to avoid, and I'm going to go through it. Number one, don't wait for HMRC to call you. Be on the front foot. 2, do not overpromise on payments, okay? You tell them what you can afford to pay over that period of time, and you tell them that number based on the cash flows that you've done, okay? Once you're in a time to pay, you've got to make sure that you keep all your returns up to date, okay? And also you're paying those returns as and when they fall due. Because another reason why a time to pay arrangement will fail is you're in a time to pay arrangement, but you don't pay your next VAT bill or you don't pay your next corporation tax bill. And what happens is if you don't pay those current bills, your time to pay arrangement fails and you're back to square one. So how do you set up a time to pay arrangement in HMRC in 2026? Know your numbers, contact them before they call you, explain your situation clearly, negotiate realistic terms, get written confirmation and stick to the plan. Listen, this is not about getting away with stuff. It's about showing that you're serious about paying them back what you owe. If you are a UK director behind on tax, don't panic and don't hide. Contact us at Director First today. We'll help you prepare your proposal. We'll help you deal with HMRC sometimes on your behalf. And we will make sure that we help you protect your company and yourself. Now, HMRC have got some new powers and they should scare the life out of you. I want you to go over that video there. And it's going to explain to you guys what HMRC can now do if you don't do what I've just told you and you bury your head in the sand. They can literally dip into your bank account and pull the money out. Go and watch that video. Chris Worden, Director First.